again to the for Industry Days of Malmö Arab Film Festival. This is our first day of the Industry Days, and it's very exciting. We have moved completely online this year, which makes it both bigger and smaller in a sense. So we're very happy to still be able to continue with the program and having you here with us, even if it's digitally. So this is going to be a case study of Brotherhood, and we will talk about the film, how it came to being, the nature of co-producing, and also the journey you made to the award season, and not least, at least not, what am I going to say? Yes, not leastly the Academy Awards, the 2020 Academy Awards, when you were nominated for the Oscars. And you also did a pit stop here at Malmö Arab Film Festival, and we are of course very proud of that. For people that just joined us, I am Rocksén. I am the forum coordinator here at Malmö Arab Film Festival. And I am so delighted to have with me today Sarra Ben-Hassen and Andreas Rocksén, who are co-producers of this film. I'm going to talk a bit about the film, a quick synopsis, and I also want to introduce you. I have two very impressive people in front of me that deserve a good introduction. But Brotherhood is directed by the Tunisian-American writer and director Meryam Joobeur, and it tells the story of Mohammed, a hardened shepherd living in rural Tunisia with his wife and his two sons. One day, Mohammed gets deeply shaken when his oldest son, Malik, returns home after a long journey, and with him he has a mysteriously young wife. The film progresses and there is tension between the father and the son, and it rises over 3 days until it reached a breaking point. And I just recently watched the film, and it was really haunting, and it has stuck with me for a couple of days now. So I'm very excited to have you both here. And when it comes to you, the people I have in front of me, Andreas, you are a Swedish journalist, to begin with, director and producer, and you've been this for 25 years. And you've produced dramas, documentaries for cinema, both national and international broadcasters. And you're also the founder and the managing director of Leica Film and Television, which was founded in 2004. In the recent years, we have had films represented at Cannes, Venice, Sundance, and IDFA. And we talked about a couple of those films very early, right now before you joined us, Sarra. And of course, the short fiction Brotherhood, that we're going to talk about a bit today, was nominated for the 2020 Academy Awards. And Leica Film and Television is an independent film production company, and you have produced a number of reports and documentaries on subjects that will engage and reveal and create debate. And on the later years, you have started also to enter into an international feature film projects with ambition to bring new stories to life. And Sarra, you are a woman with 20 years of experience in the Tunisian film industry as a production manager and a script supervisor. You have founded the production company Instinct Bleu in 2018, and you are currently developing shorts, documentaries, and features by emerging talents from Tunisia. Sarra, I just wonder if you could tell us a bit more about Instinct Bleu and what your work there.
Yeah, actually, of course, I thank you for inviting me for the case study, because Brotherhood, it was the project that changed my career and my life, my entire life. So when I met Meryam, we decided after working together to found together the company Instinct Bleu based in Tunisia, to first develop her feature and also to seeking for talents, unique talents in Tunisia, to accompany them in their first steps. So the company is founded in early 2019, and we work together. She is most the creative part of the company because she is director. She understands how directors work, what do they need, etc. And I'm more the producer part, financing, etc. But we work together.
Oh, thank you. And Andreas, we talked earlier too a bit about you not being a stranger to MAFF. You've been with us for a couple of years in the pitching and in the other forum program as well. And I wonder if you could tell us more about not only Leica, but also because you choose to work not only closely, but also repeatedly with Arab-speaking films and international films as a Nordic production company. So I'm also interested in where this interest for Arab film comes from on your part.
The way that we were introduced to MAFF was through Mohammed Sahadat, who was working with us on a documentary film project that we had back in 2013, 14, somewhere. And that was a documentary. It dealt with this story about connected to the murder of Rafiq Hariri in Lebanon. So he was working in our office, and he had these film connections, and he also introduced us to his structure. Then we sort of opened up to be a partner to these Arab projects, as the conditions for the pitch forums or the funding segment of the festival requires that you have a Swedish producer. So we opened up for that, and so suddenly we got lots of projects arriving to our office with scripts and ideas, and as we've been working with both scripts and ideas before, we could sort of evaluate the quality and see that there was so much talent, so many good stories, so many important stories that were developed in the Arab world. And we decided to sort of pick a documentary project, pick a feature film project, pick a short film project, and try to see how far we could go with that. And the experience so far has been fantastic. We have had, we've been participating in, I think, 7 or 8 of the pitches, and we have been successful with 4. I think, and successful meaning winning the grants at MAFF, and that allows us then to go further with these projects, approaching Swedish funding institutions as the Swedish Film Institute and regional funds for further finance. Also bringing Swedish talent or creative input into the projects that we support. So that's how, and that has been a fantastic journey. I mean, we know that the creative input has been working really fine in these Arab projects. We have had, DOPs and sound technicians going to Tunisia and France and everywhere. We are in close contact with people in Jordan for the Farah project, and have projects edited in Sweden, being very close to the production of these films. And obviously the films are we are so proud to even be part of it. It's been fantastic with Kauter's Beauty and the Dogs going all the way to Cannes, with The Man Who Sold His Skin going all the way to the Academy nomination, also going to Venice, also winning prizes here in Stockholm. So it's been overwhelming, and of course Brotherhood being one of the crowns in our cake. It's been fantastic. But that gave you the answer to how we began in the first place, right?
Definitely, thank you. And I mean, for us in Sweden, especially here in Malmö, Arab culture is such a big part of the Swedish culture as well. It's become a form of hybrid country where all cultures have found their spot and been celebrated. And I think that Leica does a great thing with that, to do it also in a bigger scale, international scale. But when it comes to Brotherhood, I'm also interested from both of you to tell me more about the early stages. How do you first came across Brotherhood and Meryam, and what drew you both to this script? Maybe you can start, Sarra.
Yeah, actually, Meryam came to Tunisia for a trip because she's based in Montreal. So she came with Vincent, the GOP, to visit the country. It was 1 year before the shooting one. So she met the brothers when they were in their village, and she started talking with them, and she wanted to take a photo of them, but they didn't accept. And then she learned that a lot of men from this village went to join ISIS. So the idea started from that journey and from that trip with Vincent. And she started writing the script, and 1 year after, she went to meet again the brothers. So she called me to look for them, to try to reach their parents, to talk to them. So the idea started like this.
Thank you. And how about you, Andreas? How did you come across Brotherhood in the beginning?
Well, they sent the project to me with the full script. And Meryam is brilliant. I mean, she's brilliant in so many ways. But the script was super good to start with. And then while talking to her and understanding her dedication to the project, and also understanding how that she was, I mean, she was so convincing as a filmmaker. It made it very easy for us to accept being partners in that project. And I also got that story of those boys, and how she was casting them and how she approached them. I think that she found them on the side of the road, and she was asking for the directions, and then only afterwards she felt that, wow, those boys looked really, they made an impression on me. So then trying to approach them afterwards, and also I think recognizing that there wasn't a third brother in the family. And I think that you had the story. I was convinced she was a good filmmaker, but I think the result, when the film was done, I think that I was surprised because it was so much more than what was presented to me in the first place. That has actually been the case with all the films that has been completed so far, that I can see that, the idea was there to begin with. There was talent around it. There was a good script, but, when the films were finalized, they were so much more and professional than I would ever think of or dream of.
No, and seeing Brotherhood, seeing the result is amazing, because I feel like the film not only tells the story of many people in many countries of the MENA region, but it's also so specifically Tunisian. You get visuals from the Tunisian rural countryside that I would never have met in media or other places. It's so hauntingly beautiful. And I wonder, Sarra, because you work so much with Tunisian film and you are an expert on Tunisian emerging artists, if you think that this film, Brotherhood, is a good representation of the future of Tunisian cinema and what stories are coming from Tunisia at this moment.
Yeah, and also I just want to add also I was surprised about the environment. Sort of there's a chillness in the film. I mean, it's cold. Yes. And they're at the sea, and you can feel, and that is not what you expect from Tunisia. You see another side of Tunisia and also the features of these boys is, you know, it's not really what you expect, but of course you fully accept it. Yeah. But it's something else.
I completely
I'm very compelled, you know, with the result.
Yes, I agree. What about you, Sarra? Do you think that this is?
Yeah, actually, a lot of people knowing a little bit Tunisia are confused because they didn't know the side of landscapes, Tunisian landscapes, and also when you are in Tunisia, you rarely meet people with red hair. So I think Meryam wanted to break with stereotypes. That's their first goal to make this film, and it's amazing. The result was great.
Yeah.
I partnered up with Meryam at Sundance when the film was screened in the US, and it was a screening for school kids. And Meryam was there to answer questions, you know, to give a Q&A. And I felt, I mean, all the audience, like 15-year-olds, they were really into it. They really loved the film and they wanted to ask so many questions about it. But Meryam was then talking very much about this, you know, what happens when you get to learn people, or get to know people, and to sort of break away from the stereotypes that you have. As for many of these American kids, you know, Arabs or Tunisians, you know, they are equal to terrorists. And to get this perspective on the country and the people was, I think, overwhelming to them. In a very good sense. So, I mean, she obviously in that meeting with the kids, she achieved some goals for what she was trying to do.
No, and what she's done is amazing. It's a short film. It's a short fiction film, which makes every minute, every second of the film important. Every visual has a meaning, and it tells a story that is both common in the narrative of the Middle East, but also very uncommon. It gives the overarching narrative a human touch, which is often left out in media. And I think that's why I really, really enjoyed this film. But we here at MAFF, we came across this film because we heard your journey in the beginning of the film, but we met this film when you applied for the funding in our, for the grant in our funding program. And that we are very proud of having all these films. And when I listen to the pitches, I'm so amazed. I'm not a filmmaker myself, so I'm very amazed on how you can visualize something and then actually create it. It's so amazing. But I wonder what grants like these mean, like the grant that MAFF provided, what this means for not only Brotherhood, but what it can mean for independent films, but especially then for Brotherhood. And whoever feels comfortable, maybe you, Sarra.
Yeah, I wasn't there in the pitch, but Meryam was talking about how to pitch his film. I think what is new with Brotherhood, because it's her third short film. What's new is she changed the process of directing. She wants something from the heart. She broke her ego, and she was surrounded by few people The crew was composed by 12 persons only. It's strange. In Tunisia, we still have a big crew for shorts, 40 and more people. So she needs to. She's the kind of person who needs to talk and to communicate with the team, and she needs to establish a good relationship with them, especially with the actors and all the members actually. And she took her time to develop a strong relationship with them. So and to talk about the film, what she wants to do, what she wants to show, and also she has a spontaneous side. What I mean that she's open, and she's listening to others to compose with their opinions or ideas. She's not coming on set with what she wants and telling the people to execute. She's always listening to them and trying to get the most important and beautiful things from them.
And she did succeed, for sure.
Yeah.
Andreas, what about you? What does these grants and these types of festivals mean for independent films like Brotherhood?
I think financially, the short grant at that time, I think it was 15,000 Swedish, so it's not a big one. But what it means is acknowledgement that, this is a test. For every project, it's a test. You have people, jurors, to look at the project, to, examine it and to take it apart and to ask questions about it. And when you get a grant like this, it's like an approval. It's a stamp of quality that this project has passed. So the next time when you get to the big fish, you can show that this has been evaluated somewhere. It has some quality. There's a quality mark on it. So that makes them more confident, and it's more easy to get more money on board after such. And as the industry looks, it's really hard to make international co-productions of short films, because what every country does is they are using the short film industry to sort of breed their own talent. And they are not, it's not very much co-production going on. So the MAFF support and the Film i Skåne support, that opens up for that kind of cooperation anyway, which is good. It's a good learning process for everyone involved. It's also good for the quality marking of the projects like this. But it's very helpful, I think, to get them finally financed and finalized.
Yes, and you mentioned co-producing, and I'm actually very curious about the nature of co-producing, because correct me if I'm mistaken, but Brotherhood is a co-production between Tunisia, Sweden, Canada, and Qatar. That's a lot of countries. So I wonder if you could tell me more about co-production transnationally, but also what the benefits and perhaps even the challenges can be in a broad co-production across many countries and nations. And this question is to both of you, so whoever feels obliged.
I can talk for ages about this. Maybe Sarra can begin.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So it looks like a lot of countries, but it's normal because we got the Doha Film Institute grant, production grant. So of course it's Qatari, also Qatari co-production. We got the MAFF development grant. So, and we got a CALC grant from Quebec, Canada. So that's why all these countries are mentioned and co-produced the short. For Canada side, I can explain this because Meryam is based there and studies film cinema there. So she got a grant for directors, for new directors, and she came with this grant first. And we didn't need to ask for more funds like National Tunisian Ministry Fund or AFEC Fund. Well, we felt that Meryam was ready at that point, and with this budget, it was enough to shoot and to post-prod the film. So it wasn't a big budget, but it was okay for what she needs. And we decided to start production with these grants and funds.
Thank you, Sarra.
Okay, I will talk a little bit about co-production. As I said, when it comes to short films, they are pretty hard to co-produce because, I mean, it is normal for Canada here to invest in a filmmaker, a Canadian filmmaker. They see her as a Canadian filmmaker, and that it could stop there, right? Then, of course, of her Tunisian descent, she has the opportunity to also reach out to Doha and to Tunisian ministry and all of that, and to MAFF. But when it comes to co-production, and now I will talk about the feature film or documentary film. I mean, there may be many producers involved, but we divide responsibility so that you have one producer that is responsible for the full set. And in Brotherhood, that would be Maria in Canada, and having responsibility towards all the others. And then you have producers in different territories where we submit applications and try to find financing partners or other partners. These financing partners, money comes with conditions. So there are different conditions. One condition is that if you have money from the Swedish Film Institute, for instance, they want to have Swedish spend, meaning that most of the money that they give, we need to guarantee Swedish creative input. I mean, their support is to support Swedish film industry. So that's how we then discuss with the main producer, what can we contribute with? And in the case of Kauter's films, that has been DOP in Beauty and the Dogs, and it's been sound department in The Man Who Sold His Skin, and some other posts as well. When it comes to Farah, that has been the editing, the editor, film editor. All of that has been done in Gothenburg. And then you have, they don't ask, the Swedish Film Institute don't ask for money back. And it's only a limited condition for spending in Sweden. When you come to the regional funds, they all differ, but you have, they want to have 100% spend for the money that they contribute with. And they also want to have a share of the ownership of the film in the end. Which means that if the money generates money, if the film generates money in the process, in the market, then the regional funds collect some of that money. So that is money that costs money, if you understand. There is a cost attached to it, which means in the perfect world, you would have control over everything, and you would have all the benefits or profits of the film afterwards. And that is not the case. So to build a feature film or a longer film can be very complicated. You can have 5 or 6 or 7 producers involved. Yes, and also you have these investors, meaning private funding And they are in there to collect more money, not only collect their investment, but also collect the profits afterwards. So, and those are really, we call it expensive money or hard money. So there are different kinds of, produce funds and the cause of producing. But what happens is that everyone gets involved pretty much. And projects can be really, really complicated in the end with many producers, creative input from many countries, and well, the agreements that we write can be 100 pages long.
Yes.
And it's a really boring job.
I can imagine that's a very boring job.
Yeah.
No, thank you, because many of our attendees here today and in the industry days are aspiring filmmakers and aspiring producers. And hearing it so, and having a good, honest conversation about how it actually is to co-produce is something that I think is very well needed in the industry, to have be prepared to what you're getting yourself into in many of these cases.
What I like to say when it comes to Brotherhood is that Meryam has had a very, very strong hand in the project from the start. She has known what she wanted, and she has had this very close group of Maria as the producer and Vincent as the DOP. So she has been trying to move this project forward, but having this core of sort of her project very close to her. So, and that has been helpful also for everyone else involved, because we have felt all the time that she has been so confident in what she likes to do. So we sort of know that we feel relaxed, in her presence, sort of.
Thank you. And then at the end of this journey, if you can call it an end, you've not only received the nomination for an Academy Award in the 2020 Academy Awards, but also 70 other nominations and festivals and awards. So it's like you mentioned earlier with the MAFF grant, now you reach the point where your recognition has been even further recognized, because and especially you, Andreas, you have a large bibliography of successful Arab Swedish films, like The Beauty and the Dog and like The Man Who Sold His Skin, that is nominated for this year's Academy Award. Am I right? Yes.
Yes, yeah. I'm glad you said that. Yes, thank you.
In case you missed that is what's going on. And I'm just wondering if these types of awards, I can imagine that it is the recognition and the form of reassuring that this film was good, basically, is what these awards can mean. But do you think that they can also mean what could they mean for the future landscape of a Nordic Arabic co-production, for example? Do the awards have deeper meaning for you as co-producers than just the final stamp of approval type of thing?
Well, there are different deeper meanings. Let's say, of course, the cooperation that we have proven to be able to do, and of course, in the framework of MAFF, I mean, the achievements of MAFF are very, very impressive. I'm so impressed and happy or glad for Keblawi and what he has done. Obviously, he has put Arab film on the map in Sweden, and not only Sweden, but he has been so helpful for what is happening with Arab film in a total. From a personal point of view, when it comes to deeper meaning, I am very proud to be able to contribute to the development of Arab filmmaking, Arab films, and to sort of raise awareness of the talent that is there. I'm especially proud of being part of the Tunisian wave of films, because it's been very, through these years, the Tunisian films have had very, very strong impact on the international scene. And I'm even more proud that I'm part of what seems to be a female wave of filmmakers, making their way. And I also see that as an acknowledgement of what the democracy. I mean, Tunisia was the example of democracies being successful in the end. I mean, of course, there are problems in Tunisia. It's everywhere, but at least there was some kind of liberation, and it was a liberation also of creative forces in a way that has made this possible. And I'm part of it, and that is in a deeper meaning, in a deeper sense. That is something that is really warm heartening for me.
Thank you. That was actually very lovely to hear. Sarra, I wonder if you have anything to add to this. Are you optimistic about the future of Tunisian film and Tunisian cinema?
There is a lot of things to do in terms of laws, because the administration is very hard to work with them. But things are changing. Thanks to these success stories, like the last one of Kauthar. I think politicians and government will think twice before putting let's say put money in culture in general, because cinema travel all over the world, and it's like an ambassador of Tunisia. And I want to add that MAFF becomes like a reflex in our strategy of development. We put when we are thinking about our development strategy, we put MAFF because it become necessary to try it. And Meryam was before Brotherhood was in MAFF development with her second short, Born in the Maelstrom, and she won the development grant. And we are back also this year with another short, but as producers, Meryam and I as producers. So MAFF it's essential for us to develop our films.
Thank you both. Before we end, I want to see if anybody of the attendees, if anyone has any questions, you can write them in the Q&A box down below. But before that, I wonder if you both have anything to add to this. If there's anything you feel that I've missed asking you, then please go ahead.
I was thinking one thing that makes the film Brotherhood so very compelling and good is the footage. I think that Vincent really needs to have credit for some really beautiful camera handling in that film. Of course, they discuss it, but he's excellent DOP.
No, I agree. What really stuck with me from Brotherhood was definitely the visuals. It was, yes, like we talked about earlier, beautiful and unique and new, something I haven't seen before, something I didn't know I was missing out on. So no, thank you both. And it doesn't seem like we have any questions, but if that's the case, and oh wait, a question popped up. Let's see. It says, what are your thoughts on co-production in the future post-pandemic landscape? And Youssef asked that. And I don't know who it's directed to, but I'm guessing whoever feels comfortable answering that question can take it.
Yeah, co-production is the same before and after. I mean, we need the partners, the same partners for our films. But what changed is the insurances. We have problem with insurances because the insurance after the pandemic, they don't want to give the film insurance for other countries. And when we co-produce with Canada or France or Sweden, we shoot in Tunisia, it's a problem. So we have this kind of problem, but I think it has to be resolved soon.
Mm. The world will continue to need stories told on film. So film production will continue. I also think, I mean, the way that film production has developed is that there needs to be many funders in projects. The funding processes are getting more and more complicated. So I think co-production there will be more co-production in the future because investors hesitate to invest all their money or take the sole responsibility for a project that can go, it doesn't become a success. So it's like a burden sharing or risk sharing that I think will mean more co-production in the future as well. And yeah, that's. I hope that it responds to.
I really think.
I don't think that COVID actually will. I mean, we will come out of this mess soon.
Can't wait for that. And Joseph, I think I could mention too that after this session at 5:30 we have a panel discussion that is named Film Production and Distribution in the Time of Corona. So if you're interested in that, you're very welcome to join us on that panel.
Maybe Joseph is part of that.
Yeah, maybe it is, but I don't think so. No, you're not. But
it gave you an opportunity to.
Yes, you can ask all your questions there, Joseph. Well, if we don't have any more questions, I want to thank you both again, Andreas and Sarra. It has been a pleasure moderating this and such an interesting talk. So thank you so much. And
I want to say hi, Sarra. Nice. Nice to meet you.
We never meet. Yeah, it's our first. Hi, Andreas.
Yeah. Hi. And cheers for a super good film.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And good luck with your feature in Oscars. Good luck.
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
Good luck to you both on our funding sessions. I wish you all the best of luck there.
Yeah. Thank you, Rocksén.
Thank you both again. And I'll see you later, hopefully.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.